Hello, hello.
Hey, everybody.
Oh man, what's today?
Logged in, we're ready to roll.
Tuesday. I almost called it Wednesday,
I wish.
but it's definitely Tuesday. Thank you for joining us
Wednesday Eve.
for this Tuesday. No, we can't even start that. We are not about to start that. Thank you so much for joining us for KARE 11 News at noon. We hope that you're having a good day. We are covering some very big developing stories today, including in the courtroom. Cece, what is going on with a trial that's seen a lot of attention in the last couple of years?
Yeah, so right now prosecutors are bringing Cody Forencamp back for another trial. I'll break down how that works in just a minute, but a big talker today.
Absolutely, especially in the North Side community. Let's also talk about the weather outside.
Yeah, it feels cooler outside, but it doesn't feel that cool. It still is rather warm. We hit 85 degrees for a high temperature yesterday, which is ridiculous for it being October the 21st. By the way, we didn't even set a daytime record, but it is tied for the latest 85-degree day on record. We are headed the other way, however. Temperatures are in the 60s, which is a couple degrees cooler than what we saw yesterday. But there's a cold front that's moving through the northwestern part of the state. That will bring us markedly cooler air in the days ahead. You can see on our radar satellite composite some clouds around the metro. Most of the rain showers, however, in the northern part of the state associated with that front. Areas from Fergus Falls towards, the Bemidji area up towards Lake of the Woods, seeing some light rain showers, fairly brief, and most of that activity is going to stay across the northern half of Minnesota. So basically from St. Cloud to North Branch points northward, a better chance of seeing some spotty showers later in the day today. Here's your hour-by-hour forecast for the Twin Cities. Mix of clouds and sunshine today, and temperatures about 10 degrees cooler than what we saw yesterday. So mainly some showers north of town. 70s today, will be in the 50s tomorrow, and another rain chance as we head into the tail end of Thursday. We'll talk about the potential for an active weather pattern developing next week in a couple minutes.
Ben, thank you. In just over an hour, the man once convicted in the shooting death of Deshaun Hill will be back in court. An appeals court overturned his conviction, but now he's being tried again. Cece, I know this has been a big case in the area for years. What happens today?
Yeah, things kick off in just an hour, really. Forencamp will be back in court at 1:30 today. This comes about 1 week after learning the Hennepin County Attorney's Office will retry his case. Now, you may remember an appeals court overturned Forencamp's conviction back in May because of a legal issue. The state Supreme Court decided not to hear the case, and that allowed prosecutors to try the case again. Forencamp is accused of killing Deshaun Hill in February of 2022. Hill was a star quarterback for the North High School Polars and a guard for the school's basketball team. Investigators say Hill and Forencamp accidentally brushed shoulders while walking opposite ways down a sidewalk on Glenwood Avenue. At least one witness said Forencamp then pulled a handgun and fired 3 or 4 shots at Hill, at least one striking him in the head. Hill later died at the hospital. He was just 15 years old. Now, Hill's family agreed to a $500,000 settlement with Minneapolis Public Schools after alleging Deshaun would still be alive today if North's principal hadn't agreed to let students out of school to take part in a demonstration at City Hall that day.
So at this time, do we know what Forencamp is being charged with?
Yes, so Hennepin County Attorney Mary Moriarty released a statement saying she'd retry Forencamp on the same 2 charges from his first trial, which is 2 counts of second-degree murder. And during that first trial, Forencamp was sentenced to 38.5 years in prison, which is the maximum sentence allowed for second-degree murder, Alexis.
I know there will be a lot of eyes on this, Cece. Thank you. And we do have a crew in the courtroom today. We'll have the latest starting at 5. Right now, one of the main detectives investigating the death of Maddie Kingsbury is expected to take the stand in the murder trial of Adam Fravel. Yesterday, jurors watched video of what prosecutors say was the last day of Kingsbury's life. The video shows Maddie and Adam Fravel dropping off their kids at daycare together on March 21st, 2023, the last day she was seen alive. Then, a video from that afternoon shows Fravel picking up the kids alone. Fravel was charged with first-degree murder after Maddie's body was found more than 2 months later on a property near his parents' home. Well, today, police are trying to figure out what led up to the deadly shooting of a 3-year-old boy in northeast Minneapolis. Officers say they were called to a shooting in an apartment building on Jefferson Street just after our show yesterday. When officers arrived, they found the 3-year-old boy who later died at the hospital. Police did say that an adult was with the boy at the time of the shooting.
As a police department, we'll stand along by the family. This is a very serious incident. You're talking about the life being lost of a 3-year-old child. A child has lost their life today.
So far, no one has been arrested. We have an update for you on the financial crisis unfolding at the charter school Step Academy in St. Paul. In the last 24 hours, we learned that the school board is calling for a special session on Thursday. A chaotic meeting was held last night where 2 school board members resigned and 5 new members were appointed. Sources tell KARE 11 that the superintendent is also expected to resign. Right now, the charter school is on the brink of shutting down, in part due to costs stemming from the newest campus in Burnsville. The finance director says the school's operating budget deficit more than doubled from nearly $800,000 earlier this month to $2.1 million. The school is cutting staff, salaries, and renegotiating leases to fill the financial hole. They are still serving nearly 800 mostly Somali and East African students, which is highlighted in the school's recent job postings. If Step Academy folds, a state data shows that it would be the 11th charter school to close this year. Election Day is exactly 2 weeks away, but millions of people across the country are choosing to vote early, including right here in Minnesota. Right now, the University of Minnesota will be hosting a Voter Palooza event. It's meant to guide first-time voters, and there's even a pop-up early voting site on campus. In fact, it's the first and only one on a Minnesota college campus since a law was passed last year allowing them. Across the border in Wisconsin, in-person absentee voting is now open. Nearly 1,000 people are expected to vote early just today. Right now, online voter registration in Wisconsin is closed, but people can register at early voting locations until November 1st. Early voting there ends on November 3rd. Multiple former GOP officials and government attorneys are now urging the Department of Justice to investigate Elon Musk's voting sweepstakes. Musk has already started giving $1 million to registered voters in battleground states. First, they have to sign his political petition in order to be eligible for the daily prizes. That petition affirms support for free speech and the right to bear arms. In a letter to the DOJ, officials warn the tactic could be breaking federal law prohibiting anyone paying people to register to vote. New details came into our newsroom just this morning that could shorten your commute into the cities. Michelle Beck brings us the latest changes coming to the Gold Line.
Once it opens in March, I'll be able to hop on a Gold Line bus, take a bus-only lane, and go as far east as Woodbury. Well, as of this morning, the Metropolitan Council says it's ready to go west from here as well, which means I'll have a bus connecting Woodbury to Minneapolis. The point of the Gold Line is for buses to run all day and all week, so frequently you won't even need a schedule. Metro Transit says commuters will have access to more than 93,000 jobs near Gold Line stations, and that number will go up now with Minneapolis in the picture. According to the Metropolitan Council, this will be a $20 million addition with 2 stops in Minneapolis. St. Paul residents are expecting more foot traffic, though to one shop, that doesn't always translate to more business.
Absolutely, it'd be more lively. It'd be better to see more people in general in downtown. Our clientele with either us, a jewelry store, or a vintage antique store, or a high-end linen store, all in this corner here, that's not really our customers.
For the Minneapolis extension of the Gold Line, the plan, according to the Metropolitan Council, is to be up and running by 2027. In St. Paul, Michelle Beck, KARE 11 News.
Well, in about an hour, the Minneapolis City Council will discuss cannabis regulations for businesses. The Planning Commission is recommending the required distance between a school and dispensary be 300 feet instead of 500 feet. It also suggests shrinking the size of requirement for a commercial or industrial area where a dispensary is located. Cannabis retail sales in Minnesota are not expected to start until the spring.